Crochelina.com, and I've got an exciting episode for you today because I'm going to teach you how to do flowers. And in the last episode I did, How to Crochet, I promised you guys that I would give you a project that was quick and fun and you could practice your stitches on, and this is it. I'm going to do a crochet along about flowers, and you're going to get to practice all the stitches we learned. The slip stitch, single crochet, double crochet, triple crochet, and chains. So I've got 3 flowers for us to do today. There's these simple flowers, which are great for bouquets, and also you can put a little bobbin hairpin on it and put them in kids' hairs. A million things you can do with them. I've got these 2 colored flowers, which are also great, a little bit trickier. And then I've got a challenge flower, which is double layered, and these are beautiful. Is there any place that you cannot use flowers? I don't think so. You can fill your house with flowers. It's fall, and everything's turning brown, and all I want to do is add color to my house right now. So I'm making tons of flowers. So I hope that you'll take this opportunity to make tons of flowers, practice your stitches, and enjoy it. So let's get started. All you're going to need is some 4-ply yarn and a hook. Preferably between 4.5 and 6 millimeters. Any of those would be fine. So I'll show you step by step with my simple pattern, which you can go down into the link below. And you can go to my site and download and print all of the patterns for the flowers. And you can also print the file for my card. And my card says, "These will last longer and will never wilt, just like our friendship." Isn't that nice? Anywho, let's get started. Here's the first flower we're going to work on. It's really simple. It's done in 1 round, all into the magic circle. I've got the symbol pattern here, and I've got a legend in case you forget what the symbols are for. But I'll explain it to you as I go, and if you forget a stitch, don't worry about it. Just follow along with me, crochet with me, and let's make lots of flowers. So first we're going to start off with our magic circle. And there's our magic circle. And we're going to start here at the chain 1. We're going to chain 1 and single crochet into the circle, and then we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then single crochet in the circle, chain 4, single crochet in the circle, chain 4, single crochet. We're going to do this all the way around until we have 6 chain 4 petals. Okay? So first we'll start off with a chain, and then we're going to single crochet, and then chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then don't forget, when you're working with your magic circle, you want to keep your tail just like this. You want it to be working over it, so have it wrapped in like this, because when you finish your whole round, we're going to pull the tail and pull it closed. That's what's special about the magic circle. So we've just done our chain 4, and now we're going to single crochet all into the magic circle. Okay, then we're going to do another chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, and then single crochet. And if you're getting too close to your starting point, you can always just shift over your stitches like this to get a little bit more room. 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet. And you can see now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 petals. I want 6. So let's keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a single crochet. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is our last petal. And in the last petal, instead of single crocheting, because we already have one right here, we're just going to slip stitch into our single crochet to end the round. So find your single crochet, which should be just right under your first chain 4 loop. Just right here. And then you go into the stitch, wrap, pull through, and pull through. That's a slip stitch. And then we're going to pull our tail to close your flower. And we finished our flower. So I'll cut the end. And if you want to do a bouquet, leave it rather long. You can cut it to whatever length you need later. But the important thing is that you want to just pull your tail until you get nice tight center, just like this. And then what to do with this tail that we just created, stick your hook in here. Any of the places you can fit your hook in, doesn't matter. Just going to do that, and then you'll slip it and pull it through to the back. And then you don't need to sew in ends or anything. And you have your first little flower for a bouquet. Here's the pattern for our next little flower, and this is a 2-color flower, and it's worked in 2 rows. One row in white, and then the next row is the yellow. As you can see, I made the first row blue and the second row black, so you can follow along with the symbol chart. And I love the symbol charts because it shows you visually what's going to happen, like what your project should look like, whereas words can be a little bit confusing sometimes. So let's get started with our white. We're going to start the same way with a magic circle. Alright, and if we count, first we're going to do a chain. So there's our chain, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 single crochet into our magic circle. So, and don't forget, you want to keep your tail together with your circle. So you're just going to put your hook in the circle and work around the tail. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And at this point, you should be able to pull on your tail and close your circle. And now we're going to count backwards 6 stitches, so we'll know which V to slip stitch into. See, we're going to slip stitch to end the round. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is the stitch we want to slip stitch into. So we're just going to put our hook under the stitch, wrap, pull through, and pull through. And there's our first round. And you can cut your white. It doesn't have to be long. And you've done your first round. Now we're going to attach our yellow. And you can attach it into any stitch. I'm going to attach it, see, we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to attach it into this first stitch that's after my tail I just made. Okay, and then I'm going to I'm just folding over the yarn, and I'm going to slip it through and then do a chain to secure it. And that's how I attach my yellow. Okay, so let's look at the pattern now. Right here, we're going to chain 3, double crochet into the single crochet stitch that we just attached into. Then we're going to chain 3 and slip stitch into the same single crochet. And that'll create our petal. So let's start. We're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to double crochet into the same stitch. There's a double crochet, and then we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to slip stitch into the same stitch. Alright, so there we've created our first little petal. Then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and this is going to get our petal right on top of the next single crochet. So let's find our next stitch, which is right here, and we're going to slip stitch over on top of that stitch. Okay, then we're going to chain 3, double crochet, and chain 3, slip stitch into the same stitch to do our next petal. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to double crochet into the same stitch, and then we're going to chain 3, and then we're going to slip stitch into the same stitch. And there's our second petal. Then we're going to slip stitch over onto the next stitch. There, we've slip stitched. Now we're going to repeat this again. It's the same pattern over and over again. Chain 3, and then double crochet in the same over into the same stitch, and then chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into the same stitch. All right, and then we're going to move on to the next stitch, and I want you to continue doing this until you get onto the 6th petal. I'm just going to speed myself up right now. Okay, so I have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 petals, so I need to slip stitch onto my next stitch and finish my last petal. And this is where my tail is. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to slip stitch into this stitch right here.
All right, and do my last petal. And don't worry if this last stitch is a little loose. It's because your end is there, so you just have to pull it to make it tighter when you finish. Alright, so I ended there with a slip stitch and I finished my last petal. And then to end the whole flower, I'm just going to slip stitch into the first petal stitch. And then I'll cut my end and let you see what it looks like. There's our flower. And in the same way we did with the first flower, just to get this in the back, you can insert your hook anywhere that's close to it and just pull it through. And there's the flower. And because this is really meant for practice, no one's really going to see the back of your flower. I just like to tie a whole bunch of knots. Just maybe double knot and cut the ends instead of sewing them in. Especially if this is going to go on a hat or on a headband where no one's going to see the bottom. Why go through all the trouble of sewing in all your ends? Let's just practice our stitches. That's what I say. So there it is. And if you're curious how this flower works, it's basically you have your base row of 6 stitches, which is each one gives you a petal, right? It's a building block for a petal. And then the petals, you're doing a chain to get up to the height of a double crochet. And then you're doing a chain to get down, back down, and the slip stitch basically closes the petal. So that's how the petal works. So I hope you like it. Let's move on. So here is our challenge flower. And I love this flower. It's one of my favorite flowers. It's big, it's double layered, it's great. And don't get overwhelmed by the amount of rows. This flower has 5 rows. Don't worry, we're going to go step by step. And the only extra stitch it has is the triple crochet. So you should know all of the stitches and you'll be just fine. So let's get started. We're going to first start doing our yellow first round, and that's going to be doing double crochets, 12 of them. If you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there'll be 12 double crochet going into our magic circle, and then there are going to be 2 more rows of yellow, which you're not going to see right now because we are going to build the 2 layers of petals onto those rows. So first we're going to start off with a magic circle. Alright, don't forget to keep the tail in place. Then we're going to chain 3 and then do our 12 double crochet into our magic circle, and that's going to give us a nice big yellow circle for the center of the flower. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do 12. So there's our first double crochet. And second. third. And I'm going to stop counting because you're probably losing count as I'm counting. So I've done a whole bunch. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need another 3. If you hold on to your tail along with the circle, it should stay in place while you work over it, so that it stays in between all your stitches. So make sure after you've done your 12 double crochet that you count backwards, just like me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And this is your original chain 3. See, 1, 2, 3. That's your original chain 3. So we're not counting that in our 12 double crochet. Now we can pull our tail to close the circle. And we're going to slip stitch into the 12th stitch to end our round. Just like that. So that's round 1. Now we're going to do round 2, which is shown in black here. So first we're going to chain to get up to the height of the single crochet. And then we're going to single crochet into the first double crochet stitch. So single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, single crochet. So it's basically chain 2, 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet, chain 2, 2 single crochet. We're going to do this all the way around until we have 6 sets of chains. Okay? So let's start. First we're going to go into our first stitch and do a single crochet, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, and single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're going to chain 2, and then single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and then chain 2, single crochet into the next stitch, single crochet into the next stitch, and then chain 2. And then if you look at the pattern, it shows that I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch, and then we're back at our starting chain, right? So I'm just going to slip stitch with our first stitch to end the round. So here's my 1 single crochet, and I'm going to slip stitch with my first single crochet stitch to end the round. So there we go. So we've completed the pattern because we've got sets of 2, right? And in the end, there's our set of 2. So that is round 2. Now we're going to do round 3. So in the same thing we're going to do, we're going to chain first. So we're going to chain 1. Round 3's in blue. And then we're going to single crochet on top of our single crochet, chain 3, and then single crochet into each of the next stitches which are single crochet stitches, and then you're going to chain 3. So the only thing you have to worry about is not crocheting into your chain spaces, but into the stitches, and I'll show you how to figure that out. First, let us single crochet into the first single crochet stitch, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Now, how to find your 2 stitches? Well, find your chain 2 space. Here's one, and find your next one. Here's the next one, and in between you can see there are 2 stitches. 1, 2, and that's where you're going to do a single crochet here and a single crochet here. So 1 and 2. All right, then we're going to chain 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to find again our next chain 2 loop, and chain 2 loop, and use that to find our 2 single crochets, which are right there. 1, 2. So a single crochet in the first one, and then single crochet in the next one. Then we're going to chain 3, 2, 3, and again we're going to find our 2 double crochet, and then we're going to not double crochet, sorry, single crochet, and we're going to single crochet on top. Then we're going to chain 3 and keep doing this all the way around. Again, you should have 6 petals, spots where we're going to do our petals into, so 6 chain spaces. And now I've done my last chain 3, and again, you want to go into the single crochet right after your next chain 2 space, which is right there. And then we're going to slip stitch with the first single crochet to end the round, which should be right in front of your chain 3 space. And we've finished round 3. Isn't that simple? It's not too much of a challenge. So I've cut my yellow, we're not going to use it anymore, and I'm going to attach my white. Now this is where it gets interesting. We are going to be doing petals into the chain spaces, and the first row of petals, which is this little one, is going to go into the chain 2 spaces, and the big set of petals is going to go into the chain 3 spaces. So first we're going to start by attaching our white yarn into a chain 2 space. So how do we find it? Well, you just pull your chain 3 space away, and there's a chain 2 space, so just fold over your chain 3 out of the way. You want to pull up your chain 2 space, just like this, so it's just got a loop. And then we're going to stick your hook into the chain 2 space and pull your white yarn through to attach. With a chain. Just like that. And for the whole 4th round, that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be folding back our chain 3 space because we don't want to work into it. We're going to work into our chain 2 space. Alright? So let's look at the symbol pattern for this petal. This is our petal right here. It is a single crochet, chain, 2 double crochets, chain, single crochet. And I made it black so that you know that this black petal is going into the black chain 2 space. Okay? So now that we've attached our yarn into the chain 2 space, we're going to single crochet, just like the pattern says. Chain 1, and then we're going to do 2 double crochets into that same chain space. There's 1 and 2, and then we're going to chain and single crochet to finish our first petal. And there it is. Now we're going to single crochet into the next chain 2 loop. So you got to find your next chain 2 loop. So here's our chain 3. We're going to fold that back and find our chain 2 loop. There it is. So we're going to push our hook into the chain space, wrap, pull through, and keep your tension here so that you can have your petals nice and close together. Wrap and pull through, and you've done your first single crochet. Then we're going to do again, chain, 2 double crochets, chain, and a single crochet. So here's our chain and our double crochet, and then another double crochet, and then a chain and a single crochet. And there's our second petal. And you can see this is just a pattern that you're going to repeat into each petal chain space all the way around to make your 6 petals. So I'm going to do it one more time so you can see, and then I'll meet you at the end. So let's pull our chain 3 loop away and find our chain 2 space. There it is. So we're going to single crochet, chain, double crochet, double crochet, chain, and single crochet to make our next petal. And what the back should look like, you should be able to see chain 3 spaces right here that have been folded. You don't want to work into them. This is what it should look like in the back if you're doing it correctly. Alright, so I'm going to meet you when I've at the last petal. So here I've got 6 petals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And to finish my round, I'm just going to slip stitch with my first single crochet, which is right here. And there we finished our first row of petals. That is the fourth round, so we just have one more round left. And let me show you what the back looks like again. You should have little flaps, which are chain 3 spaces, and this is where we're going to work our last set of petals. So you make sure that you can count that there are 6 chain spaces, because that means that you will have 6 petals. If not, you're going to have to unravel and see which one that you worked over. Now, let's start on our final round. So what we're going to do is, we've just done a slip stitch, and we're just going to single crochet into our chain 3 space. And you see I did blue and blue. So this is our petal pattern that's going to go into our chain 3 spaces. So we've got single crochet, chain 2, 4 triple crochets, chain 2, and single crochet, all going into your chain 3 space. And it's the same all the way around until you have 6 of them. Okay? So let's start. And we'll do a single crochet, chain 2, and then we're going to do 4 triple crochets. And if you don't remember, this is how you do a triple crochet. wrap twice, and then you go into your chain space, pull the yarn through, and then you're going to have 4 loops. So you'll wrap and remove 2, wrap and remove 2, and then you'll wrap and remove 2. That's a triple crochet. So let's do it again. I have 4 loops, wrap and remove 2, wrap and remove 2, wrap and remove 2. Let's do it again. And we've got 3. So last time. And then we're going to chain 2 and single crochet into the same space to finish our first petal. Now let's do it again. So if you notice that I am pushing my first petals over so that I can clearly see my chain 3 loop and work into it. So here's our next one. Going to single crochet into it, and then I'm going to chain 2 and do 4 triple crochet. So wrap twice, go in, wrap, pull through, remove 2 loops, remove 2 loops, remove 2 loops, and there's your triple crochet. So I'm going to do 3 more. Now I know that triple crochets can be a little bit tricky to do while keeping tension, so take your time, pause if you need to, and repeat. If you forget a stitch, don't worry about it. That's what YouTube videos are for. So after I've done my 4 triple crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm going to chain 2, single crochet to the chain space, and there's my second one. So you're going to do that all the way around, and I will meet you at the last petal. So I've just finished my last petal, and I'm going to slip stitch with my first single crochet to end the round, which is actually going to be diagonal because it's between the first and the second petal, just right here. So I'll slip stitch, and I've finished the flower. Let's have a look at it. There it is. And again, you can just pull your end through, and to keep it from unraveling, just tie knots and snip the ends. Or if you're going to give it to someone as a decoration, you might want to sew them in. You can check out my how to crochet video, which shows how to sew in ends. But here it is.
I hope you enjoyed this video tutorial. In the next episode, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of my pattern that I'm posting in the shop. A pattern of a backpack, which is made mostly from flowers. And it's very simple, just uses flowers and some basic stitches. I'm so excited to share it with you. It's colorful, it's beautiful, it's going to be great. So if you like this video tutorial, give me a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any more tutorials. And check out my website, Crochelina.com. I've got lots of patterns and information and resources for crocheters. So I'll see you next time.